Let's talk about the course details for Management One. Here is a description of the course. A survey in business providing a multidisciplinary examination of how culture, society, economic systems. I'll let you read it yourself. I'm not going to read the slide to you. Hopefully you can sit down and read this with no problem. The big issue is that we're going to cover just about the entire spectrum of business. It really is big. We don't even think about the aspect of how business affects our lives, but literally every single time you spend money, every time you earn money, you're in the world of business. Somebody's making a profit. You're making money. You have benefits. If you go into the pharmacy, you pick a prescription. Oh, your insurance plan covers it, or you have to pay part of it, or maybe all of it. That is a business transaction. You stop, put fuel in your vehicle. Oh, that's a business transaction. You buy food. It's a business transaction. Business affects us. For a lot of us, every single day of our life. It's a big thing. So we're going to talk about just about every aspect of it. We have a thing called learning objectives. All this is actually in your syllabus if you want to dive into it, but we're going to look at the different ways that U.S. government affects businesses. We're going to compare, contrast different forms of business ownership. And just in case you want to start your own business, this will give you a nice, good, broad background in the process as well. We're going to talk also about this thing called ethics. Ethics has an impact on what we talk about as well. And then we'll talk about the functions of creating a business plan, look about the relation between profit and risk. Hopefully, the higher the risk, the more profit you make. Okay, so we talk about all that. We'll talk about some different things about the planning process, about how to do company goals. We'll talk about the Federal Reserve System. We'll talk about the stock market and the bond market. It'll be kind of fun. And then different kind of financial statements that you go through. You have to do a couple things. You have to make certain you access Canvas. You get that access upon registration. You also have to have the textbook. I know sometimes people don't want to sit down and buy the textbook. You have to get the textbook, especially because there's a module on it called Connect. We do our homework on Connect. Make certain that you have Connect. You have to have it. If you buy a book other than a bookstore, okay, you need to sit down and get access to Connect. And I'm not certain if you buy it online someplace, you're going to have access. So that's your responsibility. And this is a fast-paced course. We can't sit down and have you waiting to get access to Connect in the third or fourth week because of the fact that we really move at high speed. So make certain that you go through, get your textbook, get your access to Connect in the process. They're at the bookstore. Email. Whenever you send me an email, okay, make certain you give me your name, also the course and the section number that's involved. Okay, so put your name, Management One, and then whatever section number that is, because I teach multiple classes, and I don't need to go back and try to figure out what class that you're in the process. Always, not just for me, but pretty much in life, on an email, try to keep it to one screen, keep it brief. Sometimes the less said, the better. If you give too much detail, sometimes people don't pay attention. So make certain it's brief, appropriate, and right to the point as you go through. Whenever you take a class, a college class, at a community college, you should plan on, for every hour that we have in class, this is a 3-hour class, you need to spend 2 hours outside of the class. In our case, if it's going to be a compressed schedule like we're about to go into, you need to sit down and actually plan on the aspect of we're going to spend an hour and a half in class, then you spend 3 hours for every hour. We have a 3-hour class, okay? And on top of that, so we're going to spend at least 3 hours in this asynchronous mode, okay? And then asynchronous means that instead of us all meeting at the same time, we're going to sit down and talk on video in the process. We're going to go through, you need to plan on spending 3 hours in class time and also 6 hours out. So plan your schedule to spend 9 hours every single week. And since we have a compressed schedule, it may be 10 or 12 hours. Be successful in this class. If you do the homework, okay, you're going to sit down and you attend and you watch all the videos, there's a high probability you're going to get an A or B in this class. If you don't do the homework, if you blow it off and don't do it, then you're not going to get an A or B. You may end up getting C, D, or something even worse in the process as you go through. Make certain you have Canvas. It's a big deal. On this slide presentation is also posted on Canvas. You have a phone number there to contact our great IVC IT department. I think they're really good. And they respond quickly to you. So there's their phone number to contact them, as well as their email address. Purchase and have access to Connect. There's a Connect Sport hotline here, 800 number. Connect also does a really good job of supporting faculty and students. Let's talk about this class. I created a thing called the Pod Class. No, it's not a podcast, it's a pod class. We have a specific topic we talk about in different components. Normally, every chapter is going to have 4, 5, or 6 different components to it, and they break it up into each area specifically. So you have a 10-minute or less. Sometimes there's 6 minutes. I have a couple that are actually 3 minutes long, and I have a couple that are 18 minutes long. You'll have different sections where I take the chapter and I break it into individual components for you. And that way you can sit down and look at it 2 different ways. One, it'll be on Canvas. You can watch them all in sequence. Click, click, click as you go through. Or I send them out also to you every single day, okay? And to the point that your phone will ding, typically at 7 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon. And so if you got 5, I'm trying to hit the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If there's 6 or 7 different components to this week's lesson, and in this case, you may have that many, sometimes you may even have 8 or 9, you'll get an email at 7 and an email at 3 with an announcement with the video right there to watch as well. My focus is I want to make certain that you're paying attention and that I have everything broken up in good individual components for you to be able to absorb and remember what we're talking about. So it's kind of exciting. The feedback I've had so far on the pod class has been really good in the process. Here's a list of all the graded activities. I'm not going to spend time reading this to you, but you have tests. Probably the biggest thing on the test, you have 4 tests. I dropped the lowest score. Because so technically you got to take 3 tests, but only 3 count, but there's 4 available there. I recommend taking all 4 of them. I also do 2 things called critical thinking activities in every single class. The very first one deals with Amazon, and we have a whole series of 7 different topics to talk about with Amazon. Amazon started really in 1996 and grew into this huge monster that you see today, and they really have changed the world in a lot of different things. So there's a whole series of topics. And then the second one we deal with is called the Futurist Projects. That's where I want you to sit down and choose one of 11 different activities, or if you want to choose something that you think is going to really be a groundbreaker by the year 2050, you can report on that as well. In essence, what I want to do is get you ready to be a successful business person or employee out there in the process, and depend as to how the world is going to be in the year 2050. So that'll be a project for you. Dates and assignments, follow everything that's in Canvas. If you get caught up between Canvas and Connect, make certain Canvas is the one that really rules. If you have questions, drop me an email. Follow the syllabus as you go through. Turn in things on time. Typically, I'll give you 4 different shots to sit down and not penalize you. But if it's late, I can reduce your score by 50%. So keep in mind, if I accept it and it's late, it's a score reduction no matter what happens. It is your responsibility in the case that something in life comes up out of the clear blue sky, and it does happen, and you can't complete the task. Okay, so you need to drop out of the class. If that's you, make certain that you do that. If you don't, it may be the end of the semester and you end up getting an F because you forgot to do something and it's on your college record. If you have the drop, make certain you take the initiative to take care of that on the process as you go through. So you don't want to have an F in the class. Academic policy, if you want to cheat, go someplace else. There's all kinds of things that happen over there. I had somebody cheat one time, and it's one of these things of, really? Okay, so by the way, you're a really bad cheater, number 1, and number 2, you got a 0. Okay, how do you feel about that? So it's really on you to make certain that you're honest. I'm not worried about the average person, but occasionally get somebody coming in where they go through, they falsify, they plagiarize things, and so there's a whole series of things that happen. Sometimes I send them to the dean, then things happen. I won't tell you what they are. Okay, code of conduct, we're going to have some discussions in class. Make certain you're respectful. Somebody may disagree with you. If that happens, Oh, guess what? That's part of real life in the process as well. But if they're disagreeing, disagree nicely. That's part of good collegial conduct as you go through and part of a life learning experience in the process. So altogether, we have a couple things going. I think we try to make this class exciting from beginning to end. I try to sit down and listen to you as best I possibly can. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the discussion, the projects. I like to hear you think and the feedback because I think this class is a lot of fun. I think you're going to learn a massive amount of material. And not only my goal is twofold. Number one, I want to teach you the academic excellence to succeed in the class itself. I also want to take that same knowledge base and I want to transfer it over here into the real world to make it practical for you, not just today, but today, tomorrow, and the long-term future for your own success. Take care.